Now on Inside Texoma, we are honoring dads. It's all about dads this Father's Day, and joining me now we have a panel of 3 fathers here in Texoma that are going to share their challenges, the hardest moments, the best parts about being a dad. And speaking of that, what are some of the best things about being a dad?
Oh, it's definitely when they accomplish something big and they come tell you about it.
Absolutely. What about you, Eric?
Right now is when I walk in the door and I see the excitement on my son's face.
And both those answers are great. I ditto them. Plus, you get to aggravate your kids. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 of these men are sharing everything about their kiddos. I promise it's something you don't want to miss. A great way to honor all the fathers across Texoma. It all starts right now on Inside Texoma. Hello, Texoma. I'm Ashley FITZWATER. Moms get a lot of recognition as the caretakers, but dads, well, they're just as important, too. So this special Father's Day, we want to say thanks and show that special recognition to all the fathers out there. So let's get started this morning. Joining me now from News Channel 6, we have Chris Cunningham. He is our Enterprise Manager. And we also have COO of Champions Clinic, Eric Simpson, here with us today. And, of course, also one of our own News Channel 6, Ken Johnson. He is our Certified Broadcast Chief Meteorologist. I appreciate all of you being here today, taking time not only from your jobs but also your families to be here today, but to really honor Texoma dads. So let's get started. I have some questions for you today. Tell us when you became a dad and, how many children you have, and please say all of their names. We don't want to leave any of the kiddos out, of course. But, when you became a dad, maybe how old they are as well.
I became a dad back in 99. First daughter, Haley, and recently, about a year and a half ago, second daughter, McKinley. So 2 little girls at home, huh? And what about you, Eric?
I became a dad last year, August 17th, and to a little baby boy named Jackson Cross Simpson, and he's going to be 10 months here pretty quick.
So I love it. We have a new dad on the panel as well. And what about you, Ken?
Okay, my daughter, Helicity, was born in 2003. And then there's Hayes that was born in, let me backtrack there. Okay, Helicity, I got 3 of them. My first was born in 2002. My second was born on September the 11th, 2003, Hayes. And then Kate was the surprise. Me and my wife were done having kids, and then all of a sudden one January night she comes to me saying, "Guess what? I'm pregnant." I said, "Oh, I don't remember that one." So yeah, he's a third, and he was born in 2006. So I have a 9-year-old, one that will be 8 in September, and then my youngest is 4, going on 5. Will be 5 in August.
Wow, so 3 little ones at home. Can you tell us a little interesting fact, though, about their names? I know he just said their names, but I find this interesting because you are a meteorologist, and I love the connection between his job here and the name of your kiddos.
Well, actually, this is my wife's idea. There are some names in weather, behind-the-scenes type stuff that we look at meteorologically that actually have a kind of a cool sound to them. All right, Helicity is my daughter. And what that means is a lot of times, especially during the springtime, early summer months, the winds will be real strong outside. We know how it is here, real windy, and it can create this spin in the atmosphere that's kind of horizontal, kind of like this. And when this starts spinning real fast, we call this Helicity. When a thunderstorm comes along, this is where another one of my child's names come into play, CAPE. CAPE is the amount of, it's an acronym, convective available potential energy. This means how much energy in the atmosphere is available for thunderstorms to feed off of. It's kind of what the fuel these thunderstorms need to grow and survive. So when you have all this CAPE in place, and you get all this lift in the atmosphere, and you get thunderstorms, and then you have this horizontal tube sitting there spinning, Helicity, and this horizontal tube will start spinning like this down to the ground. It can become a tornado. So basically, the CAPE and Helicity go hand in hand to produce tornadoes. And then there's haze, and we see that a lot around here, especially this year with all the dust blowing around and the smoke. And a lot of times we see this during the summer months, kind of the haziness, hazy sunshine. So that's kind of where my names for my kids come from. Again, that was my wife's idea, not mine.
I love it. That's great. I always thought that was a very interesting story and thought that would be neat to share it today. And I like how it's also your wife's idea, too.
And she kind of has a weather name, too. Her name is Misty.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Misty Rain, and I'm the weatherman, Ken, so I guess we all have weather.
It works since you're the meteorologist.
That's
you don't
right.
have to have the weather name.
I don't have to have it. Yeah, exactly.
That's very interesting. Now, if we can kind of just talk about the day you found out you're going to be a dad. And I know, first of all, I don't know if we mentioned how old your children are. Did we say how old your oldest is?
She's 12, and
She's
the youngest
12.
is 17 months.
17 months. So Can you remember the day, though? You talked about the year you found out, but just kind of when you found out you were going to have a little one, can you share that with us? And, you know, just the excitement that comes along with finding out, okay, everything's about to change. I'm going to be a dad. Nothing's ever going to be the same from this day forward.
Yeah, absolutely. When I went home, had a card in an envelope, opened the card up, and it was kind of thicker than usual. So I opened it up, and there was a little plastic bag with a pregnancy test in it, which I've never seen one before at this point in time. And looked at it, I'm like, what's that mean? You know, and she told me that she's pregnant, and I said, is it mine? No, I'm kidding. I didn't say that. But, no, I came back, and I was like, really? Seriously? And at first it was that surprise, and then it turned into something of a lot of shock, because I was like, oh, no, I got to take care of somebody else now.
Right.
You know, so first shock, then, you know, it kind of worked out, and you know, here she is. It's great.
Absolutely. Now 2 beautiful girls. So what about you?
You know, I was at work in the middle of a busy day, and Lori calls me and says that she needs to meet with me now. And so I'm kind of in the back of my mind going, okay, what's going on? So she pulls me into a room, and she has a present for me. And I open it up, and it has it's a trophy with a plate on there. It says number 2010 Dad or something on there. And I looked at her, and I just, with all this, really, you know, because we had been praying for this. And afterwards, when I asked her, I said, hey, can I see the box of the pregnancy test? Because I want to make sure that we got the right sign here. And so that's kind of how our day went.
That's so neat. What about you, Ken?
Oh, that's very easy. I was scared to death. I mean, here I am. I'm 24 years old. My wife and I have been married for 1 month. And she comes to me one morning and says, you know, I'm pregnant. And, you know, the first thing that went, I had this big sinking feeling in my stomach because, I mean, I'm young. I just getting started in the TV business. I had no money, you know, and she did not have a job at the time either. She was in between jobs. So we'd been married for a month, and she was trying to find work at that time. We lived with my parents. My parents, fortunately for us, very blessed to have such good parents like I have, had a guest house, you know, behind their house that we lived in. So that's where we were staying. And like I said, we had no money, so I was scared to death. But I guess about a month or so later, I guess kind of a bit of a calm came over me and said, hey, it's going to be all right. You know, I do think a lot of that was God telling me, hey, everything's going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. Let me take control of it. And that's what happened, and everything was, I was happy as I could be after that. I remember we went out one night and we celebrated, and I was just like, I'm so excited about this and so happy. And all 3 of my kids have been such a blessing. I'm so excited. We have so much fun.
I love it. And I love all the emotions and appreciate you sharing all those because they're real, you know. I mean, I think you do kind of go through all those emotions even as a mom, you know, kind of, okay, you know, now we're going to have a new baby, a new responsibility, but also such joy and excitement. So we need to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Inside Texoma. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, I'm joined today with a panel of fathers from Texoma really sharing just what it means to be a dad. You know, everything from the hardships to the fun times, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, the best part of being a dad. Or maybe, you know, just kind of starting, what are some of the funnest things that you do with your kids? I know the kids range in ages, so of course there are going to be different answers at this point in your life. But Chris, can we just start with you? You know, you have 2 girls, maybe both of them. One's 12, one's just a baby at home right now, but you know, what are the best parts, or what are some of the funnest things you're able to do with them?
Well, I really have started establishing a very, very tight-knit relationship with my oldest daughter, Haley. She and I have jumped together in two recent adventures, one being the theater and one learning guitar together. So we're doing both of those right now together. We're having a lot of fun. She's in her 3rd production at the Wichita Theater with me. And my youngest daughter, she actually lives with her mom in another state, so I get to see her ever so frequently. Mm-hmm. So we just enjoy spending time together when we can.
I love that you and your daughter are in these theaters together. What a special thing, you know, to share something that you love with your child. And you're actually in something right now. Can you talk about the play and what's taking place?
In Seussical right now. It's still running for another weekend, June 25th. And we're both in Whoville. I'm the mayor of Who, and she's one of the Who's. She actually plays this strange-looking instrument that's about 6 foot long. So she's enjoying it a lot. She gets to sing. I have the acting, speaking, and singing part where she has mostly the acting and singing.
I just love that, though, how you've really found something that's a passion of yours and it's a passion of hers as well, and you're able to share that together. I just think that's special.
Absolutely.
So what a great thing. What about you, Eric?
You know, Jackson's nearly 10 months old, there's not a whole lot that we can do, you know. But I will say this, one thing that he and I do have is that I will chase him, and as soon as he sees me gets up, it seems like he crawls 90 to nothing, trying to get away from me. The other thing is, you know, we have a blast when it's time to eat. He loves food, and we get to make all the different kind of sounds, and just seeing that smile. And then the other is just, you know, when he's ready to go to sleep, being able to hold him and let him just, you know, that's a sweet moment. And for dad and son, that's probably one of the, you know, a group of events that we like to take place in. So
absolutely. Cherish those moments where they let you hold them and snuggle them.
That's
huh?
right.
I don't know if they last forever. Ken, you have some older ones.
Oh, it doesn't last forever, and it goes by so quick with them being this age. You know, I had a person once tell me, and I totally agree with this, is, you know, right now they spend so much of their time chasing us. You know, when they get a little bit older, we're going to spend our time chasing them. They're going to have nothing to do with us. And my oldest girl is starting to get that way, but she still likes to have her daddy around, especially in the middle of the night. She wakes up, you know, like this morning, she woke up before, Dad, would you please come lay down with me? And I always do, you know, whatever. She's kind of like, you know, all my kids are special, but the girl is the apple of the eye. Got to be. She is a sweetheart. She can be a little mean sometimes too, but that's just how it goes sometimes. But you know, as far as things that we like to do, we like anything outside, riding bikes, throwing the ball. The girl likes gymnastics. She jumps around and flips. That's all she does. I think she'd rather flip than she had walk. So we do a lot of those things together. We go to the movies. We love going to the movies. Read a book. Sit down at night, watch some TV. One thing that we like to do is go fishing. We always go and we have a blast doing that. Catch a lot of little small catfish, you know, and the kids just have a blast doing that. Occasionally we'll catch some bigger ones, and they really like that. But we just anything, you know. My wife works a lot. She's a nurse over at United Regional. She works on the weekend. She does labor and delivery at night. So, you know, a lot of times it's just me and the kids. A lot of times it's just us. So, you know, we have a lot of fun together.
And that kind of leads us, you know, talking about challenging moments. Are there challenging moments, you know, that maybe you see, you know, as a dad? And maybe, Ken, I know recently there's kind of been one, you know, that you can talk about with this.
Every moment's a challenging moment. You know, when you live a place where your closest family is 8 hours away to the east, and you have no family, you have nobody to fall back on. You know, we've just been real fortunate that we've been blessed with a couple of girls around town that help us out. We have really good neighbors that help us out. Just in the last 7 months, we've been to the emergency room 3 times. And when you have boys, you're going to wind up in the emergency room. The first one was Hayes. He was outside. I don't know how he got a hold of a bottle, but he broke the bottle and cut the end of his pinky off. We had to rush him to the emergency room and get that sewn back on. And then a couple months later, my wife had had to have an appendectomy done because her appendix was about what had ruptured. So we had to go to the emergency room for that. And you know, I had to call my next door neighbor up. Hey, could you watch the kids in the middle of the night? He came over and stayed with the kids while I took her to the emergency room. And just the other night, Kate was riding his bicycle outside, and he turned a corner too fast and right down into the asphalt. Boom! Got in a fight at the asphalt won. And this happened on my dinner break. Wife's at work, and he hit his head. And he got lethargic, then he started throwing up, and I said, when that happens, you need to take him. I took him into the emergency room. Fortunately, I was able to call Ben Walnick up. Ben, I'm very sorry. I know you're watching the Mavericks game. I'm very sorry that I had to pull you away from that. But had a little mild concussion. He was there for a couple hours, came home, and he's been fine ever since. So, yeah, there is a lot of challenges. But like I say, fortunately, we've been blessed with good neighbors and other people around town that have helped us out.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, you hate to see your kiddos hurt, but that's, you know, things that go on or they get sick. I know you have a little infant at home, so what are some challenges you have now? I know sleep may be one of those that you're not getting enough of at this moment in your life.
You know, sleep has actually improved over the last couple of months.
That's good.
It was pretty bad there for a while. You know, Jackson doesn't really get sick. I mean, we have not had the challenges that Ken has had to encounter. Our challenges are more of where can we get a babysitter? You know, where can we get some time one-on-one, but I know that those are to come, but not right now. So
that's good, and it's interesting the different, you know, places in your life, the different challenges that you have. I know you have an older daughter too. Are there any challenges now? I don't know, boys or you know whatever they may be. What are the challenges you have right now?
Don't mention those words yet quite yet.
No boys, huh? Yet.
No, that is. I know that's it's an upcoming challenge. I guess one of the biggest challenges that I have there is being being dad, and I know that one of the questions you're going to relate to later on is being dad and mom in the same capacity, and this kind of ties into that a little bit. But you know, she's 12 years old, or will be 12 years old in the next couple of weeks, and there's going to be some things coming up in the near future that you know it's good to have female influence in your life, and I have to be thankful for those that are around me. My support group, my aunt has been a huge blessing to me, and being able to help my daughter through some of those things that it's more comfortable to talk to a woman to than it is to a guy.
Sure.
So that's about the biggest thing right now.
Well, that's good. I know you said, you know, in the future there will probably be other challenges, of course, for every age group. That's just kind of how it goes, but lots of memories and stuff being made along the way, so that's the blessing through all the challenges. So we need to take another quick break, but we're going to be right back with more. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, it's Father's Day. We want to say Happy Father's Day to all of our dads out there. Joining me today, we have 3 special Texoma dads here sharing their stories and just everything that goes along with being a dad. So kind of talking about what are you looking forward to the most as they grow. You know, you have different age groups at home right now. What are you looking forward to in both of their lives as they grow and just the future, basically?
Well, for my oldest, Haley, obviously looking for her to be happy with the decisions that she's making, giving her a little bit of some independence right now. She wants to be a veterinarian, so she's working towards that. I just want her to be happy with what she's wanting to do. We talked about 2 weeks ago, and she was telling me how this is what she wanted to do, and being a dad, I want to make sure that she's going to do something she's really happy with for a long time. So, of course, I reinforce her and tell her, if this is something that you find that you're not wanting to do, don't hesitate to come talk to me and tell me, you know, this is something I want to do something different. The youngest, on the other hand, has some severe health, situations there. She's constantly in the children's hospital in Little Rock, and the doctors say that she's probably going to live until she's in her mid-teens sometime. So, as far as she's concerned, my priority is spending as much time as I can with her. But, you know as well as I do, God's in control.
Absolutely.
And anything can happen. Doctors can say something, but God can change that for the best.
Absolutely, and I know that's what we're hoping for. So, and I love just spending time with them, right, and just making those moments count. What about you, Eric? What are you looking forward to the most with baby Jackson?
Well, now right now, in the season that Jackson's in, which is the very early stages of his life, I'm ready to see his full personality evolve. You know, who is he going to be? What's he going to find funny? What's he going to be serious about? And then, 2, being able to get into the sports. I'm so ready to be able to, other than bouncing or rolling a ball, I'm ready to throw and play catch and shoot basketball and play football. That's what I'm ready for.
And those moments aren't going to be far away. I know they grow up fast, right?
Yes, you do.
Well, we're having so much fun now. I'm not in any hurry for them to grow up. We're having a lot of fun. We're to that stage now that we're throwing the ball around a good bit, and we're playing T-ball and machine pitch. My middle child goes up to kid pitch next year, so we're excited about that. They're real involved in sports. And as far as, what I look forward to in the future, I just look forward to our next great adventures. We go on adventures all the time. Every day brings a new adventure, especially in my crazy life. We always find something interesting to get into, and I look forward to that in the future, but I don't look forward to them growing up. I want them to stay this age as long as I possibly can.
I know, I understand. It's hard. You want them to grow and be successful and grow up, but it's hard to see them grow up. So I love hearing that from dads, too. I know moms feel that way, so it's nice to hear all the dads feel the same way, too. So kind of something else I wanted to talk about. Ken, you have both the girls and the boys at home. I want to know, who is more challenging to raise?
They all present different challenges. Girls and boys are just totally different. The girl, she has her things that she likes to do. Her thing is she likes to go shopping and that kind of stuff. And then the boys, I'd say the boys are probably easier because they don't gripe about what you put most of the time. Don't gripe about what you get them out to wear. Most of the time they're good with that. And my kids like to eat. Most of the time the 2 younger boys will eat whatever I put in front of their face as long as it don't involve tomatoes. Even the little one will eat that too. But with the girl, I don't get her clothes out for her. She gets her own thing out, and she will throw a fit if I try to get her dressed in the mornings. So I guess that there are challenges, in those regards. But another challenge this probably affects my wife more than it does me is you're constantly pulling us in 3 different directions. Mm-hmm. She has to be at gymnastics at this point in time. on this night, and then the other two have to be here, here, here for their baseball, or they take karate, and it just pulls us constantly in 3 different directions. So that is a major, major challenge. And then in most of the time, it's just my wife doing that run around because I'm here at the station in the evening, so I don't get to do a lot of that kind of stuff. So I guess that those are the challenges, but really in general, while parenting is not easy, I just really enjoy it.
Absolutely. So he's saying boys are a little bit easier. Have you heard from other people? Because, you have the 2 girls, so that means you have it twice as hard, I'm guessing here, huh?
Well, from what I understand, I don't know yet. They haven't hit that teenage time period. So that's what I'm hearing the most of. I've been around boys. They seem to be a little bit more rambunctious around the house.
Yes.
Where the girls seem to be a little bit more timid. But later on in life, I know all the shopping and everything else that goes along with the boys. And I don't know. I would have to say I'm split on the whole thing. I don't know. It depends on which period of time of life you're talking about.
That is a good point. What about you, Eric? I mean, right now you have just the boy at home, but I'm sure one day that will change. So,
hey, if we go down that journey, I'll find out then. But as of right now, I would say probably boys would be easier than girls.
All right. Well, there you go. There you have it from the Texoma dads. I'm sure you all have your own stories to tell us at home. But we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, I'm joined here with a panel of fathers for Father's Day, just honoring all the dads out there. And I know we have dads that wear multiple hats. They do multiple things. Some of them do it all by themselves. The single dads, we have to definitely honor them this Father's Day. And Chris, if you can kind of just give us a little bit of perspective, there are so many dads out there I know that wear both hats. You're Mr. Mom and you're the dad. You juggle it all. So what is your secret to really just making it all work, making the day-to-day activities continue?
Well, honestly, you have to have a lot of help from the outside. That's one of the biggest keys. I think honesty with your children it goes a long ways. You got to have a real tight, real close relationship. If you're having money problems, of course, you don't want to tell them everything about that. But you want to be a little bit more honest. We can't afford that right now, type thing, or whatever the case may be with the child. So really, those 2 things for me seem to be the biggest pushers. As far as that's concerned. As far as being a dad and a mom at the same time, yes, I've had to change the way that I do things because as a father, we tend to be a little bit more stern and kind of cut and dry and want things to go a certain order in a certain way. And there's times that you got to be a little bit more gracious and get down with them and I'm sorry. Hug them, you bumped your knee, you bruised your knee, or whatever the case is. But, as fathers, we tend to kind of step away from those things when there's a father in the situation. The guy's, back here, and the woman's the one with the child. So, yeah, you have to do that. And I've even been made fun of playing Barbies with my daughter. I'm not ashamed to say because, she didn't have that type of parental supervision growing up. So, I was there doing the whole Barbie thing.
But you know what? That's important. Getting down there playing tea, doing the Barbies, playing dress up, I'm sure, too,
Well, I'm not going to admit to that. But, after meeting Ken Johnson over here, and being at the station, I have a new respect for Ken the doll. So
you know who Ken is, huh?
I do now. I have somebody related to him.
Ken and Barbie is. I love that. And I think that's so important, to realize how long did it take you a long time to really balance the 2, or was that something that you just kind of naturally picked up?
No, it did take. There was a transition period, you just don't exactly know what to expect when something like that happens, and you're alone with a child. So you kind of have to just go with the flow and just look at other people. And as a father, for me, I've had to look at mothers and their children and how they interact and what are they doing different than what I'm doing. So just kind of keeping my eyes open.
I love that. So that should be really encouraging for all the single dads out there, knowing you're not alone. Find a good support system, and you can make it work. So that's very encouraging. Thank you for sharing that with us. And Eric, I just want to ask you, when you're going home, you're a working father, and then you go home, and how do you split the 2? We talked about this with the moms, but how do you, when you're home with baby Jackson, how is that his time where you're not worrying about all the other stuff that happened at work that day?
I won't lie. It's tough. There's a switch that you have to turn off. When I get into my vehicle and I'm driving home, basically any phone call that I have to make to tie up the loose ends, I make those phone calls. If a phone call takes 10 or 15 minutes longer than what it was supposed to, I'll sit in my vehicle until that phone call's done. But when that phone call's done, I turn my phone on vibrate. When I go to inside the house, I set it down, and it's done. I won't look at it again until before I go to bed. So for me, I have to really compartmentalize and just kind of shut everything off.
Maybe tips other people can use. That's great advice, to do that. And Ken, I know, like you said, your wife sometimes works the weekends, works the overnight. So at times you're often juggling Mr. Mom as well. So how do you balance the two?
Well, it is a hard thing to do sometimes because my day, normal day during the school year, starts at around 7 a.m., sometimes 6:30 a.m., and it doesn't end until 1 a.m. It's a full day, solid work throughout the day, and at night a lot of times we wind up with broken sleep because they're troubling you. In the middle of the night when the kids want something, they usually come to me. I want some drink of water. I want I'm having my kids sometimes have growing pains, leg pain. They need some Tylenol, things like that. So I am getting up a lot of times. I'm scared. You sleep with me, that kind of stuff. So, what I typically do is I get up in the morning, get the kids ready for school. I get them to school. Then I go to the gym, work out. Then I come home and I straighten the house up. When you have 3 kids, you are always having a huge mess in the house. So I'm straightening up the house. I try to get dinner on. Try to start it. Sometimes I cook a stew in a crock pot or I cook something. And I eat some lunch myself. Then I go to work. And whenever I go to work, I come home. I play with the kids for a little while, help them get their homework done. Of course, most of the time if my wife's home, she usually helps them get their homework done, and that's usually her thing more than it is mine. And then I get them fed, bathed, and if my wife's working, the babysitter comes over, I come back to work, and she gets them into bed, and I come home, and I usually go to bed, like I said, around 1.
So a full day. I know
Yes,
a full
ma'am.
day for all of you, too. Kind of one of the other questions I wanted to ask is why do you think it is so important for children to really have a father figure in their lives?
Well, I just think it's important as a dad to be a role model or someone that can come in and really teach your kids, hey, this is how I done, show them right from wrong, and try to learn from the mistakes that I made and try to keep them from going in that direction.
What about you, Eric?
I think fathers and mothers are equally important, but as far as the role of the father, I believe the father is to teach boys and girls how to become men and women of God, how to be men and women of integrity, how to show their sons how they're supposed to treat a woman, and for their daughters to show their daughters how men are supposed to treat, them. And so I think fathers play a very vital role.
What about you, Chris?
How can you answer any better than that? I mean, I would exactly say the same thing that they would say. The role model and, of course, bringing them up in the way of the Lord. So
it's just something I know that only truly a father can do. So a lot of moms do a great job, doing that role, doing that dual role, but, we appreciate everything that the dads do as well. And again, want to wish all of you a happy Father's Day and look forward to hearing much more from your children, and hopefully we can share again. So thank you so much, Texoma. Once again, happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. We'll see you back here next Sunday morning for another look inside Texoma.